So today our subject is about the master of fraud. These masters, they are expert. They understand exactly how to trick you. Sometimes we think that they have this magical stick and they can do magic. I don't know how they do it, but they are so good in something called social skills. They are not that much smart, but they have social skills. And this is what's interesting. They say when they analyze the brain of a human, when they are speaking about fraud, some brains, they have different gray area and white area in the brain. And they say these guys, they have more creative side in their brain where they will be able to do something that normally we would not think about. They are really innovative in their techniques. And they have very good ability to lie and keep lying and memorizing their lies and lie and lie and lie. However, their techniques to be able to control their social group, because they are social animals, right? They understand how to control their groups. At one point, they will fail. What's the reason of the failure? That they are not smart enough to keep remembering and figuring out how to manipulate their lie. So for example, if I lie to you and I say I'm living in this street, and I lie to you and I'm saying I'm living in that street, and I lie to you saying I'm living in this street, now I need to memorize, okay, what I said to you. So if we meet together, I say, how was your apartment? I say, what I said to you, so I need to figure it out. So for that, sometime after a while, after 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, we uncover their lies. Because sometimes it's hard to keep this lie. But when you meet them for the first time, when you interact with them for the first time, they just do magic. And they get you. And you are wondering, how come they were able to fool me for the first time? They have the ability. Look what they say. They like to succeed, but they don't want to work hard. We are going to discuss that in our next section about animals. Some animal in the jungle, they like to get food. They like to survive, but they don't want to work hard. And this is their attitude. They can actually go and run an investment firm and do a hedge fund and do investment and get some money. But they say, no, why do all this hustle? We do a Ponzi scheme. We take your money and do whatever we want. So the first case we are going to discuss, a very interesting case called, the Polka King. Have you heard about it before? Anyone? So this story is very interesting. The story started like this. A guy, he's a singer. He is, coming from a Polish background, and he came to America. He is living in the Polish American community, and his job is to go on the stage and sing the polka dance. It's a very traditional Polish song that he will sing, and he's so happy in doing this. His passion, his love is to do it. Everything is great. No, it's not great. Why? He will not make so much money from singing that song to survive. But he doesn't like to do anything else. He would like to go and have his band with him, and he just would like to sing the song. At one point in his life, he was doing the song. During the day, he got a shop. In the evening, he was doing delivery. And at night, he was cleaning the floor. He was doing everything possible just to survive. And why? He is taking some of this money just to pay additional money for the band that they are with him, just to stay with him. Because when he is going and doing this song and dance, and he's so happy with all this audience, everyone's saying, but we are not getting enough money to survive. We would like to quit. We would like to cancel. They say, no, stay. He loves to show that he is really successful. And that's something about these guys who are doing fraud. So what he did, he tried, and he said, I believe in the American dream. I'm going to make it big. But he couldn't. So what happened? One time while he is inside his shop, some of his, fans, remember, he's a musician. Some of his fans came to him. And he thought about something very simple. He asked them, can you see? I'm really successful. I'm doing all these songs. I have all these fans. I am going to start an investment where I give you guaranteed 12%. So he thought, look at his thought. He thought, I will take money from them. I will go and do tours all over the country. I will be so famous, so they will pay me a lot of money for my songs, and I will return the money to them. I will be okay. But I'm not going to tell them now. Now I'm going to take their money. So his fans, they said, oh, this guy is famous. He's doing all the songs. He is really cool. So they decided to give him money, and he said, I will give you 12% guaranteed return. He started doing this for the first fund, for the second fund, third. He started doing this for a couple of weeks, a month. So after that, the federal government in US heard that this guy is running an investment fund, which is he's running a corporation where he's asking for investors without listing this certificate of investment with the government. Usually, if you are a corporation and you are running investment, you need to list them. So the federal officer gave him a visit to his office. And he said, hey, it looks like you are collecting money from investors and you are not listing it with the federal government. He said, is this illegal? He said, yes, it's illegal. He said, you have 3 days to give all the money back to all the investors. So he started doing the calculation. He was like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. I don't have the money. So how can he do it? He started to mortgage the house. He started to do this. He started to do that. He couldn't do it. So what happened at the end? He said, okay, there's no way other than actually returning the money to the customer. So he starts figuring a way to return the money, some to this customer, some to this customer. Maybe he had to sell everything he got, and maybe he's going to go to jail. He is in a big trouble. So one of his main investors came to him, and he went with him to the coffee shop, and he said, I'm so sorry to tell you, I have to give you your money back. So here's a check, here's your money back. The investor said, why? Why? Did we do anything wrong? We are so happy with the 12%. He said, I'm so sorry, I'm stopping accepting any investors. For that, I can't accept your money. I'm returning the money to you and all the investors. So, these two investors, they were a very old man and old woman. They are husband and wife. So the lady, she said, see, I told you, we should have given him more money. This money is not enough. So the man, he said, listen. We are willing to invest with you a lot of money. And would you take us? He said, no, I'm closing. But look, now he came up with a creative idea. But I have another business that I'm opening. I'm going to give 20% return on it. But this is for big, major investment. They said, we are willing to put the money. So now it was good. He collected enough money from them to pay all the old investors back. So when he paid the old investors back, what do you think the old investors did? The same thing. They said, why? We are happy. He said, would you like to join the other investment? Yes. So then he called the federal government. He said, yes, I actually closed down the fund. The federal government said, okay, we are happy. But now he opened another fund. He understood how to hide the information from the federal government so they will not hear about it. And now he's promising 20% rate of return. On what? He decided to open an empire. What kind of empire? He decided to do songs, DVDs, tours, videos, movies. He decided to do everything. And where he's gonna fund all this money from? From the money from the investors. So he decided to do special tours to Europe, where he will promise everyone who will go on the tour that they are gonna meet one-on-one with the Pope in Rome. Anyone can do it? No. But he said he can do it. Why? Because he's so famous and connected. And he was able actually to take this tour to Rome, and they met with the Pope. Imagine in the news. Oh my God, this guy's powerful. And he took a guy to document everything is happening with him. Now when he is taking these guys on a tour to Europe, he is washing their brains to invest with him. It's not a trip to Europe. It's a trip to show these guys who are going to Europe how successful he is, how great business he is running. So in that way, they will go and invest. And how he will do it? By the end of the tour, he said, listen, I can't accept any money. However, I'm going to pass small notes. Just write the amount that you would like to invest with me, and I will think if I will accept your investment or not. And everyone after the tour, after they are friends, after they are happy, they will say, yes, we will invest with you. However, the expenses are adding up, and he can't actually pay for them. And at the end, what happened? The federal government heard about him after, everyone was saying, okay, this is a great investment. And they came and they told him, we are so sorry, we are going to arrest you. What you are actually doing is actually fraud, and you are going to go to prison. This is an actual real story of a guy who thought he's achieving the American dream. Now, most of us, we are thinking from standpoint of investigators. right? We are thinking, what happened? How they were able to catch him? Look, something very interesting about money. When money is there and the guy is doing the fraud, everything is okay. When money will stop, something will go wrong. So what happened? At some time, he is not getting new investors. So he decided to cut some costs. What kind of cost? Usually, when he will go on this tour to Europe, he will take all the ban and take the wives of these guys who are going with him on the ban. Now, when money is not coming, he told the guys in the band, look, I'm going to take you on the tour with me, but I can't take your wives. So one of the wives of one of these guys in the band, what happened? She got so upset that she's not going on the tour. She had a fight with her husband, and at the end, she left the husband. The husband got so upset, and now, he's going on the tour, and he's not making as much money as he used to do before. So he decided to go and cooperate with the federal government to be a witness, to tell them about all the fraud that this guy is doing. And he decided to call all the investors, because he knows who are the investors, and he revealed all the secrets of the business to them. So the whole thing collapsed. So next time when you want to do fraud, make sure you please everyone around you. Otherwise, they will catch you. Remember what happened in Abu Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi, in one of the hotels in Abu Dhabi, one driver decided to use magic ink to do fraud. What's the meaning magic ink? The driver will come, take your car, will write your car number on the ticket, and will give you half of it, and he will keep half of it. So this guy decided to use magic ink. He will take the key of your car, he will write the name using the magic ink. So after a while, the magic ink will disappear, and he will give you the other ticket. When you come back, you give him 50 dirham, 100 dirham, whatever, for the parking. He will take it to his pocket. And he will take that ticket and the ticket that he got to use for another customer and another customer and another customer. So he agreed, him and the other guys in the valet parking, to do this. He was making with them 65,000 a month. 3 guys. First month, okay. Second month, third month, they disagree about how they are going to split the money. One of them went to the management and told them about it. So this is what will happen. And this is good for us. We can find a way to break fraud by understanding the weakest link in this ring to be able to uncover it. All right, so let's discuss another case. Look what they say. They say, when you are dealing with a fraud and liars, listen more to what they don't say compared to what they do. You need to understand what's going on with them. Fraud is very interesting. Why? Because these guys who are doing fraud, they will tell you something and they will not tell you so many things that you want to hear. So let's go over the next case. The next case is a very interesting case. All the cases today, they are true stories. The case is, they made a movie about it called Concussion. The story about the NFL. One guy was examining one of the NFL players that he died at the age of 50. So at the age of 50, this guy got really a disease. They couldn't figure it out, and then he died. And when he was doing an autopsy test, he said, how come a guy who is very healthy suddenly died and he got a mental issue? And he discovered something shocking. He discovered that these guys in NFL, when they are going and playing the football game and they are hitting each other heads, that's causing some disease inside their brains, and that's creating some kind of protein that's causing, when they are 50, 60, to lose memory, to get sickness, and after that they lose ability to make decisions, and some of them they kill themselves. So he said, oh my God, maybe this is a coincidence. He did examination on other players who are facing the same issues, and he discovered that the NFL, they didn't disclose to these players, to their family, that actually something is going on. So he decided to go and report this information to NFL. NFL ignored him. Not only that, when they decided to do a press release to discuss this issue, he was on one side and they have 300 doctors, researchers, media guys speaking about all the research that they have done to show that nothing will go wrong. But he said, but something will go wrong. They said, yes, maybe. Maybe. Have you warned the players about it? Not really. But this is something serious. If you play the game, there is a high chance that this will happen to you. When we are speaking about the truth, look what they say. Sometimes lies were always mixed with the truth. And this is why they make them very interesting, when we mix these lies with the truth. Why? If you tell the truth, everyone will know. But when you go and take some of the truth and mix it with the lie, it looks like something still not uncovered, and we would like to know what's going on. And that will take us to our next case. Our next case is also based on a true story of a CEO in an organization who is actually decided to first do fraud inside the organization. So he did a fraud. He needed some money. He believed that he can actually make some money. So he told the CEO in the organization that actually someone is threatening the organization to give some information to government, and we need to give him some money, so in that way we can fix the issue. Because they discovered that the research that we are doing in our lab is not getting the results. So the management said, okay, maybe we need to give the money to this guy. So actually they wired the money to this guy. But while they are wiring the money to this guy and everything happening, the federal government heard about it, that something going on. So what is the next step that happened there? The federal government, they said, we want to know exactly what's going on. So he started to make up stories to them. He told them, do you know what's going on? Actually, the head office is meeting with the competition to fix the price, so in that way they control the market. So the federal government, they said, do you have any evidence? He said, not yet. But if you want, I can sacrifice my position as a CEO and work for you, so I can get you information and recording and videos showing meeting with the competition where we are deciding to fix the price. The federal government, they say, wow, a very nice guy for him to volunteer to do this. So he decided to volunteer. But he said, first, to work with you, I would like to have a code because I don't want anyone to call me with my name. They said, excuse me, what do you want? I want code. There is James Bond. What's James Bond? 007. He said, I need to be 0014. They said, why? He said, because I'm twice smarter like James Bond. He will go in the morning to the organization carrying his suitcase, and there's recording inside, and he's like, okay, I'm approaching the organization. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I'm opening the door now. They said, don't say that. Everyone will hear you. He's thinking he's in a spy. He is in an action movie. He will go install the camera, and he's like, cleaning the camera, make sure everything is okay for the meeting that he's going to record. But actually, inside the organization, there's hardly anything. He will go and ask them questions. They say, guys, don't we want to agree? They said, agree on what? Agree to work together. And he will tell them, see, we agreed to work together. And the FBI, they were like, oh yes, they agreed to work together, but there is nothing. They agreed on what? To do what? And he was misleading the FBI while he was internally conducting more fraud and more fraud and more fraud and making more money by playing games internally. And then the FBI, they couldn't figure out who to trust, because every time he would go to them and he say, I'm feeling bad. They said, why? He said, do you know the last recording I did? Yes. Well, I lied about you. We didn't agree to fix the price. We agreed on something else, but it's not in a recording. I'm going to tell you next time. And the FBI, they say, what the hell with this guy? He's keep lying and lying and lying. He will say something, then he will change. Then he will say something, then he will change. And he will go lie to the guys in the corporate office. He's saying the FBI, they are monitoring. And he will lie to the FBI. They say these guys are doing this. And meanwhile, he's taking all the money. Then at the end, what happened with the story? They discovered that he is actually a liar. But actually, he provided some information about some illegal activity the management is doing. So the government took action against the management. The management discovered that this is the guy who is the informant. They fired him. Then they discovered, after they fired him, that he was doing internal fraud. So they took action against him. They put him in prison. And the FBI conducted an investigation. They discovered he stole 9 million. So they said, all right. But how they discovered 9 million? First, they asked him how much you stole. He said 1 million. They said, okay. They did more research. They discovered 3 million. He said, yeah, 3 million. Then they did research, 4 million, 5 million, 7 million, 8 million, 9 million. Then they couldn't find any more information. Then after, when they were doing an interview with him to finish everything, when he was in prison, he said, I'm really feeling bad about all this fraud that I did, all this 11 million I took. They said, what 11 million? He said, no, sorry, 9 million. The guy is like, oh my God, there is 11 million there. So look what they say. They say deception may give us what we want in the present, but at the end, everything will go away. Lies, they have short life. They can stay alive as long as you can keep them up. But at one point, someone is going to uncover that what you said, what happened is actually not real. It can be soon, it can be late. This will take us to our next interesting case, something called hoax. So what happened here? This reporter was trying to get an actual interview to do a story about a very rich man in US. Which one? No, it's not Bill Gates. Howard Hughes. So Howard Hughes, he is the guy, do you remember the movie Aviator? Yes. He is the guy who is actually doing so many amazing movies. He invented, aviation in US, and he made so many, big projects. However, he's a very weird character. He will not go on media. He will not do interview. He is very isolated. No one will be able to speak with him. No one will be able to come close to him. No one will be able to see him. That's how he is. However, this guy is trying to reach him, try to get to him, and he couldn't. He said, if no one can reach him, no one can get to him, how about I will say that I was speaking with him and I was able to get actually his life story, and I will go find some resources, write his life story and publish it. And I will say it's published based on his statement. What? He said at the end he's not going to go to media, he's not going to confront it. So he decided to go ahead and do it. And after he did it and he's about to publish it, the publisher, wait. You are saying this is the life of this guy who is multi-billionaire. How can we publish it without confirmation from this guy that actually he gave you the permission to tell us his story? He may tell you the story, but this not will give you the permission to tell us the story. So we need a letter signed by him saying it's okay. So what he did? He said, we need to go find a signature. We need to fake the signature. We need to write the letter, and we need to bring it as an original letter to the publisher, so the publisher will say okay, and then they publish the book. So he was able to do this, and he got the book, and got the media, and got the attention. Once he got all that, the information leaked to who? To the media. And the media, they said, Howard Hughes, this is your story. He said, no. It's not, of course, him. One of his representatives. He said, all this is fake. So they said, no issue. This guy, he's smart. He said, I challenge Howard Hughes to go live on a phone call with me, on a live media, to say this is actually fake. And he knows that Howard Hughes doesn't like to go on live media and say anything or meet anyone. And at the end, what happened? At the end, Howard Hughes went on live and he said, all this is fake, I didn't authorize him. And this guy is a big lie. Very interesting. Deception is very interesting. But when we speak about deception, there is something they say, in order to deceive others first, you need to deceive yourself. You need to convince yourself that what you are doing, it's okay. It's gonna work. It's good for everyone. And that will take us to our next case, our pharmaceutical case. This is one of the most famous pharmaceutical company in US. The CEO of pharmaceutical company, he said, we have a new approach to make money from selling drugs. He said, our approach is very simple. We will go and see organizations who are selling successful drugs. We will go acquire the organization, terminate their research and development, and just sell the drug. So we convert all these organizations into cows. You know what's cows, right? So we milk them, we just milk them. But how can we make money? By cutting the research and development, we cut all the cost. And by hiking the price, because these drugs that he is controlling, they are special drugs that they are exclusive in the market. This is the only drug in the market that he is in. Patients, they have no other option than paying. However, patients, they will pay, yes, because it's not coming from their pocket. Who will pay? Insurance. He found a way to make money that no one thought about before. So he started buying one, the second one, the second one, the second one. And the price of healthcare increased. The drug that usually will cost someone a year 300, now it's costing them 5,000. Oh my God. And he's keeping acquiring more and more and more. And someone said this organization is going to collapse. Their business model is not sustainable. And actually what happened after? The stock of this organization collapsed from, it was around 125 to 9. Billions of dollars are lost in the market. Just because of their schemes, they decided they can get rich by actually buying drugs that you need and actually sell it in the market. Very interesting story. What about another story? Volkswagen. Remember the story? The story is very simple. Volkswagen, they said, we are actually offering a very interesting solution. What's the solution? We are offering TDI, which is a car that is clean diesel, giving you clean diesel. And they convince everyone with advertisement, this is the best car. Even they won an award, they have the best car of the year. It's so clean. But when they decided to do testing, they discovered that the testing they do in the lab that will show that it's a clean car is giving completely different results than the test they are doing on the road. So how come the same car on the road will do different results? They discovered that in the lab they have a certain device inside the car to provide fake results, so in that way they will pass all the tests. Oh my God. First they thought something wrong with the test, then they discovered no. This is happening all over. The meaning of it, this car that these drivers are driving and they are thinking it's safe and it's clean, is not safe and it's not clean, and it's causing pollution in the environment. What level of pollution? More than the acceptable level. It's not only causing pollution, they are saying it's clean. Okay, you cause pollution, fine. It's more than the accepted limit. So they went to some cities in Germany where they have so much green, because this is coming from Germany, and they decided to measure the air. Forget the car. When they measure the air, they discover that the air that you are breathing in Germany is actually more than the acceptable level of pollution in an air. And when you are breathing the air, just walking in the forest, you are going to get sick. And why is this? Because everyone is driving cars thinking they are clean, and they are actually not clean. Then they decided, let's do a bigger investigation. Maybe it's not only them. Maybe the other car manufacturers in Europe. And they discovered so many cars and so many incidents happen. Now, what was the settlement? The settlement, they asked Volkswagen that you need to do recall for 555,000 cars. Not so much, huh? And just pay settlement around $14 billion. Very interesting. Now, when they were doing the investigation, this is not on a low level. Who's involved in it? The head of operation. Everything that's happening. And they created a very interesting documentary about it called what? Dirty Money. If you go watch the documentary, it's very interesting. It's about dirty money, about what actually happening with their investigation. They were speaking with the head of operation, and he is getting emails saying, maybe we need to be careful with the results that they are getting because something going on. Very interesting. Now let's go discuss another case, which is a very interesting case called the biggest scam in the mining history. Have you heard of this case? Called the Brics Scandal. So the case started like this. Look, this is a very interesting case. The case started like this. There is a Canadian, mining company called Brics Minerals. It's a very nice company, but it's on a limited budget. Their objective is to go and find some gold. So they do some operation in certain countries where they believe, gold is there. So what happened? One guy came from Indonesia. This guy. And this guy from Indonesia, his name Michael Guzman. Michael Guzman came from Indonesia, and he told David Walsh, he told him, listen, I believe there is gold in Indonesia, and no one knew about it. The guy said, all right. He said, why don't you fund me? You give me some money so I can hire some workers and we can secure a site and just do drilling. We drill. We find gold, we find gold. We don't find gold, we don't find gold. The guy said, all right, fine. So he funded him and he gave him $80,000 and he decided to go to Indonesia and do drilling. Now they went to Indonesia, they did the drilling, they decided where they want to do the drilling and everything is happening. And suddenly, they couldn't find anything. The guy was so upset. He got fever. He felt he's gonna die. All the money that he invested and all the effort, and there's nothing, not even one piece of gold. Like, okay, at least something. Then, next day, a surprise happened. What happened? They were doing the final drilling after they decided, okay, khalas, they are gonna stop the project. They said, okay, we are going to bring the workers again and do just final drilling, hoping maybe we can find it. And suddenly, in the site close to their site where they did the drilling, gold start coming. What kind of gold? You need to differentiate between gold coming from the ground and gold coming from the river. When the gold will come from the river, it will be rounded. Why? Because the water will actually change it. But if it's coming from the ground, it will be very rough. So they took the sample and they sent it to a lab, to an expert. And the expert confirmed it's coming from the ground. So in that way, actually, the site that they are drilling got so much gold. How much gold? They accounted is the biggest reserve in the world. Wow! The biggest reserve in the world. They said it's tens of billions worth of gold is actually in the site. Wow! So what happened? It was great. His company that used to worth the stock price for it 30 cents went up to $300. His company now worth billions. Everyone is interested. So they decide to start doing what? Drilling. So they do drilling, more gold will come. What do you think will happen to the stock? Up, everyone is interested. More gold will come, more gold will come. After a while, the Indonesian government, they say, oh, it looks so much gold. This is our land. So they decided to take it over. And then they had to negotiate with the Indonesian government to get the land back. And they had to bring a company to partner with them to do the drilling and get the rights to share the revenue with them. And they did everything and everything great. But however, when this company took over to do the drilling, they drilled, they examined the sample, and they said, no. It looks like there's something wrong. They drilled, no gold. Drilled, no gold. Drilled, no gold. They say, what's going on? What they discover, that, Michael, what he was doing, he actually was buying gold from the guys who are finding gold in the river and taking the gold, and he's actually doing something called salting. So he is actually taking the gold and converting it into a very small gold, and he's throwing it in the samples where they are collecting from the ground, so it will look it's coming from the ground, and he's fooling everyone. And why he was doing this? Because he went on this project 50-50 with David Walsh, and he was able to sell his stock and take a lot of money, hundreds of millions. So when they discovered that, just suddenly after, Michael went in a helicopter with the Indonesian government, and they saw him, being pushed from the helicopter in the jungle, and after 4 days they found the remaining of his body, which is only, his legs and hands and whatever, where they can identify who's the guy. And they say he disappeared. But everyone still believes that this guy is somewhere around the world living there with all this money. This was the biggest fraud ever. Look what happened to the stock. And what happened? Went all the way up and all the way down. How much the total loss in the market? It was the biggest scandal ever. $6 billion. When you see all this deception, you need to understand that for us to be able to catch them, we need someone like certified fraud examiner. How many of you are certified fraud examiners? All right, most of you, good. What about the rest? Are you thinking about it? Who's thinking about taking the exam soon? All right, good. So as usual, we have to give our 2 minutes presentation, so in that way we can explain to these individuals who are interested. If you are interested in this certification, it's a great certification. It's 4 parts exam. So if you are interested in taking the exam is 4 parts. Each part is 2.5 hours. You have 125 questions per part. You need to score it in 75 seconds per question. It's a very interesting certificate. If you take the certificate and you study on your own, you can do it. We can help you with that. We can give you a full package to study on your own if you don't want to attend our classes. In case you would like to attend our classes, we have our live instructor-led classes that's happening here in UAE. We have currently more than 350 people all over the last 3 years took our courses. So this is very interesting course because by Wednesday you will be certified. The delegate who's taking the class in the other room this week, they already cleared 3 parts, and tomorrow they will be certified. This is how we are doing it.